Tonight, two suspicious fires at illegal magic mushroom shops.
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I can't really believe it.
A car smashing into one dispensary on Rideau Street before bursting into flames, and minutes later a fire starts at a second location in Little Italy bearing the same name. Potential pay bump at Ottawa City Hall.
One of the things I think plays in favor of Councillor Menard's motion is the big disparity between the incomes of councillors, members of provincial parliament, and members of parliament.
Councillors are looking to vote on whether to give themselves a pay raise. Plus, a roadblock for plans to install sidewalks in Manor Park.
I would not ever be convinced that having sidewalks was a safety measure.
Residents win their battle against the city. Good evening. Patricia is away tonight. Right now, there's an active investigation into two suspicious fires involving illegal magic mushroom shops. One located on Rideau Street left residents stunned. Not only a fire, but a car smashing into the store early this morning before bursting into flames. Then just 15 minutes later, another fire started at a second dispensary in Little Italy. Both are branded Shroomsy. The Rideau location lit up around 4:45 this morning, the one on Preston at 5 a.m., and police don't think it's a coincidence. CTV's Austin Lee is following this for us today and joins us live from Rideau Street with the latest. Austin.
Yeah, well, Stefan, the Ottawa Police Service Arson Unit is leading this investigation. You can see here behind me, it's still very much an active scene, and this car may remain on the scene for quite some time. I'm told it could be here until tomorrow afternoon as police work to obtain a search warrant. And that's obviously bad news for some of the other businesses here on Rideau that have remained closed all day. A dramatic scene early Monday morning, an SUV colliding with the illegal magic mushroom dispensary Shroomies on Rideau Street, bursting into flames and setting the building ablaze.
We heard a car horn.
The business gutted, the charred car left at the scene.
The first thing I'd ask is who owns the car and where's the car come from?
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I can't really believe it.
Ottawa police unable to say whether the car was stolen or who it belongs to. Emergency crews were called to this scene at around 4:45 in the morning. And despite the extent of the damages, no injuries have been reported. And then just about 15 minutes later, another fire here on Preston Street at another Shroomies Magic Mushroom dispensary. The damage on Preston isn't nearly as severe, and no injuries were reported there either. Police say the arson and explosion unit is now investigating.
They will do a physical examination of the scene in order to collect evidence and try and determine the origin and cause of the fire, and then gather evidence on who set the fires and who was responsible for the arsons.
The dispensaries sell mushrooms that contain psilocybin and psilocin, also known as magic mushrooms or simply shrooms. They've been illegal in Canada since 1975, but dispensaries are operating in Ottawa, some with little resistance.
The police are dealing with things like fentanyl and other drugs that are much more harsh, killing people with no medicinal value whatsoever and severe penalties. So they've only got so many people and they can only do so much enforcement.
And this isn't the first time that these two dispensaries have been at the center of arson investigations. Back in March, both of these Shroomies locations were at the center of another arson investigation. And in this case, Ottawa police are urging any witnesses or anyone with information to come forward and contact them. Stefan.
CTV's Austin Lee reporting live for us tonight. Thank you, Austin. And we have extended coverage of this investigation on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Ottawa councillors are set to debate whether to give themselves a pay raise. At this week's council meeting, they will vote on a motion to adjust salaries in the next term of council to better align with other cities. But some residents are questioning the timing amid the high cost of living. CTV's Kimberly Johnson joins us in studio with more. Kimberly.
Stefan, the motion will be tabled Wednesday. It asks for the city to review what other municipalities are paying their councillors and apply the pay raise to the newly elected municipal government next year.
I think they're very well compensated right now.
Aryan F. Dakari doesn't think it's the time for a pay raise for Ottawa's elected officials.
I think forcing us in this economic climate to pay more taxes so that they can make more money is a little bit ridiculous.
But the mayor and councillors could see a pay raise after the 2026 municipal election. A motion by Councillor Sean Menard for Wednesday's council meeting recommends staff adjust salaries based on a review of pay in other Canadian cities. It would start at the beginning of the new term in November of 2026. Ottawa City councillors earned just over $119,000 in 2024, while the mayor earned $213,000. Councillor Stephanie Plante says that she's undecided on a pay raise.
One of the things I think plays in favor of Councillor Menard's motion is the big disparity between the incomes of councillors, members of provincial parliament, and members of parliament. And when I saw sort of the salary levels, I thought to myself, that's really interesting, because I would argue we do just as much work.
Toronto City councillors now earn $170,000 after voting in March for a pay bump. A report earlier this year stated the pay for Ottawa's elected officials is comparable with other Canadian cities. CTV News reported in July councillors were looking at several options for a pay hike, including an $18,000 raise. Taxpayers feeling mixed.
I'd be in favor of looking into the question because it may very well be justified.
To try to link themselves to Toronto and other municipalities that aren't as relevant, I'm not so sure that that's an important criteria.
CTV News reached out to all Ottawa councillors, but many declined to comment. The mayor, too, was not available for comment. This afternoon on 580 CFRA, Councillor Ralston King said that while he was waiting for the debate, he would be in support of a process that reviews pay every 4 years. Stefan?
CTV's Kimberly Johnson reporting live for us. Thank you, Kimberly. Turning to the Manor Park neighborhood now, where residents have seemingly won the anti-sidewalk campaign. Those living there said they didn't want the city to pave their paradise by installing sidewalks they didn't ask for. The opposition so fierce the city is walking back the plan. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with the details. Katie.
Well, Stefan, the key word here is deferred. The residents' campaign against the sidewalk plan as part of a road renewal project appears to have worked. That plan would have seen sidewalks installed on 6 streets in Manor Park at a cost of about $150,000. Residents campaigned heavily against it. Area Councillor Ralston King announcing in his newsletter on Friday that while the sidewalks will be deferred, they could still be considered in the future because there will be a lot of changes that impact pedestrian routes and traffic volumes throughout the community in the coming years. Residents, though, calling this a big win.
And I think for environmental reasons, we're very happy that we're not converting green space to pavement in Manor Park.
I think Manor Park put forward a very good effort. And I would not ever be convinced that having sidewalks was a safety measure.
The deferment would be a number of decades, probably a generation, I think he called it, or decades. So we're happy with that, but still think that it is not a well thought out requirement.
Water main and sewer replacement work and the reconstruction of the road with new pavement, curbs and catch basins is all still going ahead. The nearly $19 million project is set to be completed by the end of next year. Now, the councillors' community survey found 79% of residents were opposed to sidewalks. King writing in his newsletter that opposition from the community played a role in his decision, but it was not the sole factor. Stefan.
All right, very interesting development. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, new details about what could have led to a WestJet flight's hard landing in Saint Martin over the weekend. That story and more coming up. And here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is 18 degrees out there right now. And for our first check on weather, let's head outside to Jackie.
Thanks so much, Stefan. Yeah, we're hanging out at the Tavern on the Falls on what is a gorgeous day in the capital. It's still a little bit cool and the wind definitely picking up, feeling that crisp air, but when the sun's shining, it's adding some extra warmth. You mentioned it, it's about 18 degrees here in the capital, but for most of Eastern Ontario, we're sitting at temperatures between 17 and 19 degrees, and the sun will continue to shine for pretty much all of the region. Now later tonight, when the sun sets, temperatures will drop to about 12 degrees, so you may want a light jacket if you are heading out for a late night walk. Now, the sun is expected to return once again for tomorrow with no rain in sight, with temperatures remaining slightly above seasonal. But here's the thing, the overnight lows, it's another story as we drop down to single digits. So if you're not still quite done with summer yet, not to worry. There are still patio options, especially as the sun is shining. And I hear that at the Tavern on the Falls, they have some blankets. They got some fire pits going, so it'll keep us warm when we get down to those single digits. We'll have more on this and more on your look at your weather forecast in just a bit. Stefan.
Okay, chat again soon, Jackie. Thank you. In other news, an Ottawa man who helped promote a neo-Nazi terrorist group has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. 27-year-old Patrick McDonald was charged in 2023 and found guilty earlier this year of all 3 charges against him. His case marked the first time someone was charged with both terrorism and hate propaganda in Canada. McDonald made videos calling for violence against Jews and to help recruit people to the Atomwaffen Division, a terrorist organization. An Ottawa police officer has been demoted for engaging in sexual activity while on duty. According to an agreed statement of facts, Constable Richard LeMay was exchanging text messages with a woman before picking her up in his cruiser and driving her home. This happened in 2008. LeMay will be demoted from first-class constable to second-class for 12 months. A 43-year-old G2 driver is facing multiple charges after a traffic stop on the Queensway. OPP officers stopped the vehicle near Woodruff yesterday afternoon after an automated license plate reader flagged that the driver's license was suspended. There were 10 passengers in the 8-seat vehicle, including children who were not wearing seat belts. The driver was also allegedly impaired at the time. And a 71-year-old man is facing charges after vehicles were damaged by flying garbage from a pickup truck on a busy eastern Ontario highway. The driver was stopped on Highway 7 near Arden Road in central Frontenac yesterday. The debris significantly damaged his vehicle and another car. With no end in sight to the trade war, the Prime Minister is rolling out federal assistance for industries hardest hit by President Trump's punishing tariffs. CTV's Mike Lecouture has those details.
Today we got some details about the billions of dollars worth of help provided for industries affected by tariffs in this months-long trade war.
$80 million of that funding will be dedicated to businesses right here in Atlantic Canada.
That money is being put aside for small and medium-sized businesses in the region and will be shared between the 4 provinces.
What we're allocating here is bigger than the relative share of population, the relative share of GDP of the overall Canadian economy allocated that way.
It's part of a $1 billion fund to help those businesses affected by the tariffs. But some advocates point out businesses are still trying to repay pandemic loans, and they'd like to see relief in another form.
Perhaps a measure to actually eliminate all corporate income taxes on small firms until such time as we're on the other side of the trade war.
Ultimately, aluminum is a commodity.
In Montreal, Industry Minister Mélanie Joly sketched out some details around the sectoral help.
Quebec aluminum sector will get its fair share, and we believe that with the projects that are being discussed right now with Alcoa, with Rio Tinto, and with Alouette, it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Both the financial aid and focus on using local aluminum for public procurement projects is being applauded by the industry, but it won't replace what's being lost in the trade war.
We can't just easily transfer what was sold in the US just here in Canada. The market size is smaller.
Minister Joly says the government is doing a full court press in negotiations with the U.S., adding the clerk of the Privy Council, Michael Sabia, was in Washington last week. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Stay with CTV News for continuing coverage of the trade war and the government's tariff relief plan. For updates on radio, tune in to News Talk 580 CFRA, and you can watch CTV News channel at any hour. It's not quite hockey season yet, but the Ottawa Senators are back in town. The team hitting the greens today for the annual charity golf tournament, with the players sharing what they hope to accomplish this season. CTV's Josh Morano reports.
golf clubs instead of hockey sticks. But the Ottawa Senators are back home.
It was a great summer. I think I'm really prepared and obviously excited to see all you guys again, see my teammates.
The players together again for the annual Ottawa Senators Charity Open, using the time to reconnect, but also looking ahead with expectations higher than ever after their first playoff appearance in 8 years.
We want to feel that every year. It was probably the best feeling I had in a long time playing hockey, the most fun I had, and obviously when you come into a year like that, there's higher expectations.
Last season was great, and obviously it sucks to lose in the first round, but kind of leaves you going into the summer with that hunger of getting back to the playoffs.
It was a relatively quiet offseason from management, but GM Steve Staios says the experience the group gained last year should help heading into the new season.
It's a process. We know how hard it is just to get into the playoffs. And being able to focus in on having the confidence to know that we can play a certain style that'll lend ourselves to becoming a playoff team again, and then the confidence of those experiences that can help.
That's just going to help us for coming into this year. It's more experience for everybody. It's a learning curve for everybody. So coming into camp and coming in the start of the season, then we just want to keep doing the same thing we did last year.
It's not just about on the ice. Fans also keeping an eye on the team's future home.
I'm real excited about this year, both on and off the ice, with Sarah Leader and some of our ownership group, the purchase of some lands, 11 acres at LeBreton Flats for a new hockey arena.
But for players, it's all about starting a new season.
I believe in this group, I believe in this core, and the next step is in our room. I think Steve has done a phenomenal job to kind of support our group, and we just got to take a next step.
Training camp begins September 17th. The team's home opener is set for October 13th. Josh Morano, CTV News.
Be spending their days with the children. The children are going to have lunch in the communal dining room.
Just ahead, we'll tell you about a first-of-its-kind program in Canada at Ottawa's Pearly Health, bringing together a centre for dementia and a childcare centre.
CTV Ottawa is your home for local news.
Katie Griffin, CTV News in the Byward Market.
Centertown.
Canada.
Stittsville.
Bringing you local stories that matter the most to you.
Kimberly Fowler in Westboro.
Orleans. Barhaven.
From every corner of the community.
In the Glebe.
Manotick.
Merrickville.
Brockville. From the team you trust, we are CTV News Ottawa.
Live, local, breaking news. CTV News Ottawa.
Our popular Team of the Week segment is back. If you want to be a part of our Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week, upload your video to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Pearly Health is celebrating a major milestone today, breaking ground on a historic childcare center. The program aims to connect generations and will allow seniors and veterans to share their days with children at the facility. Here's CTV's Camille Wilson.
Many, many decades separate 3-year-old Apollo and his friend Michael, but it's what brings them together that makes this place remarkable.
It was great socialization for Apollo here. He got to interact with the older folks, and it brought so much joy to their face, like you can see them lighten up.
Pearly Health is creating Canada's first dementia-friendly designed intergenerational childcare center in partnership with Andrew Fleck Children's Services, bringing together seniors and children to foster connection, dignity, and joy between the generations.
I love it because where else do you get a chance to hang out with people that are 100 years old and people that are 3 years old at the same time?
Apollo has been part of the program for almost 2 years and has developed a strong bond with Michael, one of the residents who says Apollo reminds him of his younger self.
It's exciting to know that the kids are going to be around all the time.
They get to interact with the residents, so they get to see that. Maybe not everybody has a grandma and grandpa or close by or anything like that.
It's right at the center, right at the hub of where the Pearly residents live. The seniors will be actively engaged with the children on a very regular basis. Seniors seniors that are able to will actually have pass cards. They'll be coming into the space. They'll be spending their time. They'll be spending their days with the children. The children are going to have lunch in this communal dining room.
This has been in the works since 2019, and come spring of 2026, children will be here at the Pearly and right in this space where the childcare will be located.
It's really fully integrated, where the children are going to be seen every day, they're going to interact every day, and everyone is going to benefit from those connections.
I think it's fantastic that the Pearly is really thinking forward about giving daycare to their employees, because I know daycare is a massive hurdle for everyone. It's very hard to find spots.
So far, $1.2 million towards a $2 million goal has been raised. The childcare services, part of the Canada-wide early learning and childcare, will cost $10 a day.
When those two know each other's name, that's what success is going to be, and that's what we're creating here. So I'm so excited.
Seniors and veterans will share stories and laughter with children through music, art, and play. Camille Wilson, CTV News.
Well, some say it's starting to feel like fall in the capital. Temperatures were hovering around 6 degrees this morning at the Commonwealth Air Force's Memorial near Rideau Falls Park. Some of the trees are starting to change color. Now, for a first check on weather, let's head back outside to Jackie. We're not quite there yet, though. I'm going to soak up the last days of summer, Jackie.
Yeah, we're in a really, I don't want to say isolated spot, but a really nice spot to enjoy the sunset, the Ottawa River, Tavern on the Falls, a nice quick place to grab a bite and even a light drink as we enjoy the last few weeks of summer. You mentioned it. It's a little bit cool and windy, but the sun giving us that wonderful warmth. Right now, temperature is sitting about 18 degrees. We did see a daytime high about 20 degrees, and we are expecting tonight's lows to go down to single digits, about 6 degrees. So keep an eye out on this. So really enjoy your daytime here. Patio season definitely still in effect. A reminder that the sunset is scheduled for about 7:26, so the nights are getting shorter. Taking a look at the week, next couple of days, we are anticipating just clear skies, sunshine, not really much in terms of cloud cover, but then by Wednesday, a little bit of clouds are expected to roll in. However, we are likely not going to see much in terms of rainfall. What we do want to keep an eye out for is a watcher advisory in effect. There's a frost advisory in effect for areas for Bancroft. Hasn't quite hit Pembroke or Renfrew, neither Kingston or as well as Brockville and here in Ottawa, but temperatures are going to be, as mentioned, in the single digits. So most nights could see some fog patches developing and the no fog advisory in effect, but you still might want to consider bringing in your plants or covering your plants because the nights are definitely getting much colder. Across the region, temperatures, this gives you a good idea. Ottawa 6, as well as Cornwall 6 degrees in Brockville. Bancroft 2 degrees, and we've got Pembroke as well as Petawawa sitting around 3 degrees. But tomorrow's highs are much more comfortable, still in the 20 degrees. So average time for this time of year, highs are usually around 21 degrees, but we're still seeing slightly above seasonal. 23 for our daytime high for Ottawa is anticipated, and really for most of Eastern Ontario. And look at that, nothing but sunshine in the forecast for our Tuesday. Across the region, really much of the country is seeing cooler temperatures, 17, 19 degrees for Halifax as well as Charlottetown. Here in Ontario, temperatures really hovering around the 19-degree mark for southern Ontario. And as we make our way out to the west, still experiencing a little bit of that heat wave going, 24, 26 for the prairies. So again, we are getting similar temperatures, but it's really the overnight lows that we are seeing cooler conditions. The 7-day weather forecast is brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aids. Join them at the 55 Plus show at September 12th and 13th. So that is this weekend. So as we look towards our 7-day forecast, we are looking at a daytime high for 23. Wednesday will be the nicest and warmest day of the week at 26 degrees. And then the overnight low into Thursday is going to be a little bit warmer than what we'll see for the next couple of days. 13 going to a daytime high of about 21, and that's going to be what the average temperature will be as we head into the weekend. So it won't be until Sunday that we'll likely see some rainfall. So if you didn't get a chance to get out to patio weather today or enjoy the patio, you have the next 4 days to do so. All right, WeCook is Canada's leader in fresh, ready-to-eat meal delivery. Say goodbye to the stress of meal planning, prep, and dishes. WeCook chef-crafted meals are ready in 2 minutes or less, and CTV Ottawa wants to give you the chance to let WeCook handle the cooking so you can focus on what matters most. So you can head over to ctvottawa.ca now and enter today's unique code word for your chance to win a 1-year subscription. Now, today's code word is convenient. There's a new code word every weekday, so the more you watch CTV News at 6, the more chances you have to win. Wishing you the best of luck. Well, that's it for us for now here at the Tavern of the Falls. I just want to give you a good view of this. Like, look how gorgeous this place is right now. Still the sun shining, still open late. We will be speaking to one of the Tavern Group owners in just a bit. And we're also going to check out some of the food that they have to offer here. But for now, we're going to take it back to you in studio. Stefan, I might even grab a drink just for you.
Okay, some food would be nice too. Thanks, Jackie.
Just to think about it, we almost lost our lives.
Just ahead, officials from Canada are on their way to Saint Martin after a WestJet flight from Toronto made a hard landing. We'll have more on the frightening moments on board and the investigation.
Tonight, an Ontario City councillor accused of chilling threats.
Any public figure has no hope of protecting their voice.
The claims of a cloned voice that could reveal an even more disturbing reality. Later on CTV National News.
It was a terrifying ordeal for everyone on board a WestJet flight from Toronto to Saint Martin yesterday. The plane made a hard landing on the runway, leaving passengers shaken, but thankfully uninjured. CTV's Rahim Ladani has more on the investigation into what went wrong.
Passengers on board this Boeing 737 were jolted as their aircraft fiercely made contact with the runway in Saint Martin in the Caribbean Sunday afternoon.
It was a very hard bounce. The plane really did vibrate through and throughout.
164 people were on board this WestJet flight arriving from Toronto around 1:30 local time. Moments after flying over the famous Maho Beach, where tourists watch planes pass over them daily, the aircraft made a hard landing, tipping to the right side, appearing to collapse the landing gear.
The last 15, 20 feet of the landing approach, you're going to flare the airplane out, where you raise the nose slightly, increase the lift on the wing, slows the descent rate. If you do that too early, you float down the runway. And if you do it too late, well, I think you can kind of see what happens.
Passengers had to slide down the aircraft, and emergency responders deployed foam as a precaution. 3 people were taken to hospital for medical evaluation, but the airport is reporting no injuries.
At first, it really wasn't registering. I was more concerned about getting off and making sure my wife was okay. But now it's just to think about it. We almost lost our lives.
In a statement, WestJet says, at this time, we are awaiting confirmation on the exact nature of the incident. Our teams are focused on supporting our guests and crew, ensuring their safety and care remain our highest priority. John Genetakis and his family are stuck on the island. They were supposed to fly home to Toronto before the incident, but have since had multiple flights canceled and say WestJet isn't communicating with them.
I've emailed, text, we've called, no response at all, nothing. That's the frustration. It's just no communication at all, zero.
The Transportation Safety Board of Canada will be sending a team to lead an investigation into the incident, but add the agency does not assign fault or determine civil or criminal liability. Rahim Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Now, some other stories you need to know right now. The city is set to make it easier to throw away garbage and recycling in some Ottawa parks. In the coming years, garbage, recycling, and organic waste bins will be installed in more than 300 parks as part of the plan to extend the life of the Trail Road landfill. Organic waste bins will also be placed in all off-leash dog parks. The bins will be installed gradually between 2026 and 2029. We are getting a look tonight at Ottawa's end-of-summer real estate market, which appears to be heating up. According to new data from the Ottawa Real Estate Board, more than 1,200 homes were sold in August. That's up from 1,100 in August 2024. The average sale price was $686,635 last month. That's up from $646,000 the same time last year. OC Transpo staff have approved a new 3-year contract with the City of Ottawa, avoiding any potential job action. The Amalgamated Transit Union announcing its members voted to ratify the new contract. Council will be asked to finalize the agreement on September 24th. However, details on what the new contract entails have not been released.
I have been a huge fan of football in Ottawa since I was a kid. Love the Ottawa Rough Riders, love these Red Blacks, and this means so much to be honored here at this wonderful stadium on Bank Street.
A familiar face there, of course, our very own Patricia Bull, now officially the latest recipient of a Red Blacks Wood Cookie. In case you missed it, that honor is handed out Friday night, and it's given to members of the community who represent hard work, achievement, and excellence, and people who make our city and region a better place. Also, on that winning night for Patricia, the Red Blacks won the game against the BC Lions, and it was a last-minute win. What a game to watch. Let's go back to Jackie now.
Thanks so much, Stefan. Again, I can't get over how beautiful a day it is. So peak time for patio would be around now, around the 6:30 mark. To tell us more about Tavern on the Falls, we do have Andre Shad. You are the owner for several of the Tavern properties. This is by far one of my favorites, but just how intimate and a hidden gem it is.
Oh, it's been great. This is kind of our local spot. We've been here about 7-8 years now. Great sunsets. This is actually the best time of year because it's a little cooler out. We got the fire pits and the blankets going. Sunset's a little earlier, so for the old guys like me, you don't have to stay up as late and you can actually watch it and go to bed at a reasonable time. So it's been great.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about just the days getting shorter, but if for a lot of people for post-work, this is a great place to go to because it is, you get a little chance to see the falls, you get the sunset, but I also want to talk about the food and the beverage that's being offered here. Sure. Let's take a look at what you've offered up here today.
Well, today we got 3 of our hot dogs. We got the Cape Pasa, the backyard dog, and our pulled pork dog. And yeah, it's so yummy.
I see the tacos. I did try the pulled pork. What else do we have?
We have a pulled beef taco. It's our kind of Korean taco. We have a chicken taco that we fire grill on the old barbecue. And we actually new this year, we have loaded chips as well. So we just got some nacho chips with queso, some guac, a whole bunch of stuff on there, some jalapenos. And it's just great to sit and chill and snack.
The pickled jalapenos were by far my favorite. I actually asked for some extra when we had that. You talked about the late nights, blankets, some heat. What time does it open until weeknights, weekends, and how long are you expecting patio season to go for?
That's always the million-dollar question. So we go until weather kind of tells us to close. We're open at 11 a.m. Weekdays, we close a little earlier. Weekends, it's kind of until the crowd wears down a little bit. You know, like we said, we got lots of heaters, patios, got lots of blankets. We still have our Oktoberfest coming. I think it's going to be here on the 27th at our gallery location on the 20th. So we got a couple of big events still to come.
Still lots of events to keep an eye out for.
Lots of stuff coming.
Appreciate it. Well, for the next couple of days, the weather is dry. Perfect excuse to get out on the patio. Andre, let's get some of these meals and maybe we can share with Stefan back at the studio, okay?
Oh, there you go, Stefan. That one's for you, okay?
All right, thank you. I love when you guys think of me out there.
Obviously, it's going to affect my resale value and my trade-in value, which it did.
It's one of the first things you check when buying a used vehicle, the number of kilometers on the odometer. Just ahead, we'll share the story of a man who bought a used truck only to later find out the odometer was rolled back. If you're buying a used vehicle, you have to watch out for odometer fraud when someone rolls back the odometer to make it seem like a vehicle has lower mileage than it actually does. One man bought a pickup truck from a reputable dealership but was shocked to find out the odometer was rolled back. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
What did you first think when they said the odometer might be rolled back?
Well, I was completely surprised and taken back by it.
Gabriel Graziano of Woodbridge purchased a 2019 Ford F-150 2 years ago. At the time, he checked the Carfax report, and it showed no issues with the mileage. But he just went to trade in the truck to buy another vehicle, and now the Carfax report states potential odometer rollback.
Obviously, it's going to affect my resale value and my trade-in value, which it did.
The truck currently has 153,000 kilometers on the odometer, but now it appears the actual mileage is closer to 200,000. Graziano believes the odometer was rolled back by about 44,000 kilometers. He went back to the dealership where he bought the truck, seeking compensation for the added mileage.
I was not given the proper information when I purchased the vehicle. I want them to take the truck back.
Carfax Canada told CTV News the odometer records in question were not available to Carfax Canada when the individual purchased the vehicle and therefore not displayed on the vehicle history report. However, after further investigation, we believe there is a strong possibility this vehicle's odometer has been rolled back. We did a story with Dennis Estevez, who purchased a truck with 184,000 kilometers, but the odometer had been rolled back from 320,000.
Clearly, it was rolled back, and it needed a lot of work.
Criminals can use tools to change odometer readings. The Ontario Motor Vehicle Industry Council, OMVIC, recommends you get a Carfax report, a used vehicle information package, and take a vehicle to a mechanic for an inspection. After CTV News reached out to the dealer where Graziano bought his truck, it agreed to compensate him for the rolled back odometer, which was great news for him.
Very pleased that CTV came through and the dealership came through, and looking forward to getting the new truck.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Air Canada's flight attendants gave a big thumbs down to the contract offer from the airline. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that and the day's other business headlines.
99% of the flight attendants who voted against the wage offer. The offer included a 20% wage increase over 4 years for those with 5 years or less on the job. Now negotiations will go to a mediator, which will avoid a strike. Flight attendants did strike mid-August, paralyzing the carrier and upsetting the travel plans of thousands around the world. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.43. West Texas Intermediate is up 39 cents to 62.26. Western Canadian Select dropped $1.55 to under $50 a barrel. And the TSX dropped 22 points today, but remains above 29,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Asked me what the difference between plus minus and an over-under was.
Just ahead, online gambling has turned smartphones into a sports betting platform, and now experts warn teenagers are becoming addicted.
CTV Ottawa wants to give you the chance to let We Cook handle the cooking so that you can focus on what matters most. We Cook is Canada's leader in ready-to-eat meal delivery, making meal prep effortless with delicious chef-crafted meals ready in minutes. To enter, watch CTV for the daily code word for your chance to win a 1-year We Cook subscription. Whether it's a quick dinner or a hassle-free meal for the whole family, there's a new We Cook code word every day. Tune in for your chance to win.
Hey. CTV and TSN 1200 want you to be the Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week. Your team could win $1,000 for new equipment, tournament fees, or an incredible team party.
Shoot us a quick video uploaded at ctvottawa.ca. Whether it's hockey, ringette, choir, band, or any team in between. Each week, the winning team will join us live in studio at CTV Ottawa at 6 to claim their prize.
Enter today for your chance to be Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week.
A small but growing number of young teenagers are dealing with online gambling problems, and that's prompting calls for stronger regulations. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
About 18 months after single-event sports betting was legalized across Canada in August 2021, Dr. Sean Kelly says he began seeing adolescents, mainly boys, coming in with online gambling-related problems.
It tends to be at the lower end, 12 to 13, all the way up to their young 20s.
But the thing that really drove home how influential online gambling ads are was an incident with one of his own kids.
asked me what the difference between plus minus and an over-under was. And that was, hearing that from a 7-year-old made me become keenly aware of who was being affected by these advertisements.
And while there are restrictions on who can participate in online betting,
just like all adult-oriented online content, keeping youth away from it has yet to be effective in certain spaces.
Dr. Kelly says the harms tend to be mostly financial, but also things like substance use, anxiety, and depression can result.
I'm very concerned that suicidal behavior may seem like a reasonable solution to a financial problem that they have caused for themselves and their families.
The Canadian Medical Association Journal says we can't wait for a rash of severe results like teen suicides before acting on the problem of teen online gambling. And they're supporting a new bill to create a framework of stronger restrictions.
A number of advertisements per segment, number of advertisements per broadcast, there's a whole bunch of different ways that this could be measured and addressed.
Bill 211 passed its second reading in the Senate in June, but the CMAJ says it's just a first step. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
I've been through 5 operations, and I just felt like it was time to step up.
Coming up, Walking for Hope, an event held here in the capital over the weekend, raising funds for those living with ovarian cancer. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Stefan. We are hanging out Tavern on the Falls, and Caroline here, you've been working here all season long. Some popular drinks, what do they have here?
Yeah, so I would definitely say one of our most popular drinks this summer was the watermelon margarita, and despite summer ending, you can still come and keep the summer alive by ordering one of those here. We're still open. We have Oktoberfest coming up as well, which is always a lot of fun here. Everybody celebrates. It's a good time.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, Tavern on the Falls, just off of Sussex Drive, and the sun is starting to slowly set. Again, the nights are getting much shorter. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, and it is a cool 17 degrees. You may want to bring a jacket out once the sun sets. And again, a gorgeous night in Ottawa.
Tuesday on CTV Morning Live, how one local school board is using artificial intelligence to find innovative ways to teach its students. And we bring you some delicious late summer treats with Sharple waffle in the Byward Market. Looks tasty. Wake up the right way with CTV Morning Live. It all gets started right here at 6 a.m.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's a recap of the top stories we're following right now.
They'll do a physical examination of the scene in order to collect evidence to try and determine the origin and cause of the fire.
The Ottawa Police Arson Unit investigating 2 suspicious fires at 2 illegal magic mushroom dispensaries.
One of the things I think plays in favor of Councillor Menard's motion is the big disparity between the incomes of councillors, members of provincial parliament, and members of parliament.
Ottawa councillors set to vote this week on whether to give themselves a pay raise next term, as some look to align their salaries with other municipalities.
And I think for environmental reasons, we're very happy that we're not converting green space to pavement in Manor Park.
A win for those fighting against sidewalks in Manor Park. The city backing down on its plan to install sidewalks on several streets after fierce opposition from residents. And now for a final check on the weather, here's Jackie Paris.
Thanks so much, Stefan. Again, the sun's slowly setting, the night's getting shorter, sunset just before 7:30, and things are going to really cool down. We're getting down to single-digit overnight lows. Then we get to our morning, waking up at 7 a.m. As you head out the door, you definitely want to have a jacket because temperatures are going to start off at 10 degrees, and we're getting to a daytime high of about 23, but really it's those overnight lows that really tell you fall is coming. Wednesday will be our nicest day at 26 degrees, and the sunshine expected to last well into Friday and Saturday. So it won't be until Sunday we will likely see some precipitation. So again, I can't stress enough, enjoy these final days of summer. Head to a patio, Stefan. Maybe you want to get a little blanket and cozy on up at the Tavern on the Falls. Again, what a wonderful day. Thank you to them for having us here, and we are going to enjoy the sunset right here along the Ottawa River. I'll take it back to you in studio.
Thank you, Jackie. Enjoy that sunset for us. Finally, for us, dozens of people took part in the Walk of Hope for Ovarian Cancer Canada over the weekend.
I was diagnosed back in 2013. I've been through 5 operations, and I just felt like it was time to step up.
The event here in Ottawa taking place at Andrew Hayden Park yesterday. Nationwide, the event has raised more than $34 million funding Canadian cancer research, cancer support resources, and advocacy efforts across the country. That looked very good. Thanks so much for watching. That is CTV News for this Monday. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app, and for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night, and we hope you'll join us again at 11:30.